everyone. My name's Mallory Flowers, and my revolutionary idea is that we as leaders are constantly forced to negotiate between acting on the ideas that we're passionate about and stepping back to empower other people to take action. When I first got to campus, I was a freshman with a lot of ideas and passion for causes. I knew a lot about them, and I kind of knew about them in that way that you know about the facts in your textbook, where you skip a couple chapters and fall asleep in the occasional lecture. But as a result of that, I constantly ran into that question, like, how am I going to get things done around here? There is so much to do, but I have no idea how to accomplish that. So my sophomore year, I was drugged somewhat unwillingly to this community hearing on strip mining. I didn't really have any expectations for this, but I just knew that community participation was supposedly very important. As a result of this, whenever I showed up, I encountered a community that was extremely excited about the campaign they were working on. They had been working for 6 years already, meaning that I know nothing about long-term commitments. What I discovered was that they were facing strip mining in their community, and it was threatening their way of life. Strip mining is the process of getting coal for energy by removing the surface of the earth. How do you do that? You blow it up with explosives. And then you bulldoze the coal underneath and put it in a big pile for you to use. As efficient as that sounds, it's actually incredibly destructive because coal is actually laced with toxins like arsenic, lead, mercury, things that are incredibly environmentally destructive, but also terrible for us as human beings. Birmingham Waterworks Board said that this proposed mine, which would be on UA property, would actually raise the cost of drinking water to keep it clean and safe for Birmingham citizens to drink. So as I'm sitting in this hearing, I'm thinking to myself, we have to do something. This community is too impassioned. This is too much of an injustice. And at some point I catch my friend's eye, and we know we're doing it. So that day we talked with the community leaders that we met, and we promised them that we would do what we could as UA students to take action. So when we went home, we started doing research. We realized that the best way for us to act was not to be in the community, but to help raise awareness for this. Strip mines are something that go unnoticed all the time. But when communities know about them, they normally oppose them. So we were successful in pulling off a rally. We were successful in getting our message out to every major media outlet in the state of Alabama. And that's awesome, because today I can say with confidence that this isn't happening, not for Cordova anyway, where this mine would be proposed. And while I'm excited to share that success with you, I can also admit right now that I made a lot of mistakes along the way. As a young leader, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I can say with confidence that I learned a lot in doing that. One of the biggest things that I used to do, and I see other people do this a lot, is that activist-y brain dump of all the problems in the world on any passerby. For example, global warming. Have you heard about global warming? The polar bears are dying, the ice caps are melting, we're gonna flood. We're all gonna die, diseases are gonna spread, everything, we should just give up. So whoever you were just talking to is running, by the way, because you are now a crazy person. But that's not how we went about it. There's a simple solution to that. So when I say shut up, I don't mean stop acting. I mean do act, but be ready to listen. When I was working on the Shepherd's Bend campaign, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I went about it with confidence, because confidence and passion enable you to achieve things that you didn't think that you were capable of. The difference, by the way, between confidence and arrogance is your ability to listen to other people. When you get feedback from people, you have to take it seriously, even if you think that person is dead wrong. As young leaders, we all make mistakes. And when we're able to make those mistakes into constructive feedback, we grow. Finally, what I learned from Shepherd's Bend was not to do that brain dump. By keeping things simple, we were able to engage a lot more people in our effort. When I talked about strip mining with people, I didn't go into all the details of why this was an archaeological disaster, why this didn't make any engineering sense or any amount of logic. I simply stated to people that strip mining was something that was destructive to our economies, our ecology, and our communities. With that statement, I was able to engage them in a conversation because they were normally able to ask more questions from there. How? Why? What can I do? And once we were engaged in conversation, we started building a relationship. And relationships are where our power came from. What's interesting to me about this is that it's this balancing act that makes people into leaders, but it doesn't change whether you're here on campus or working in Montgomery for our state legislature or working with the United Nations on some global initiative. I was able to observe this firsthand last semester when I packed my bags for 2 weeks during November, heading for Qatar. There, I participated in the UN climate negotiations. This was an incredible learning experience for me. I think I learned more in 2 weeks than I have in my entire 4-year career. That's probably because people went around asking me, like, Mallory, have you done the NEFTRMs evals? And you're like, what? Yes. I'm getting on that once I figure out what it means. Other people would be like, OMG, a Yungo Tungo Bingo Ringo meeting in 1 min. Oh, that's who's meeting. Okay, thank you. So it was a really insane experience. And as scary as it was to have people throwing out all these acronyms and speaking in different languages and representing different cultures and communities worldwide around me all the time while I was in the Middle East, I had an amazing time because I met friends from around the world. Mexico, Finland, the United Kingdom, New Zealand, the Philippines, India, you name it, they were there. People turned out for this conference from around the world because they were united under a common cause. Climate change is a man-made process that will affect our lives dramatically. And we're not talking about changes in weather. We're not talking about it being a few degrees hotter and that's it. What we're talking about is changes in long-term weather patterns, changes in our ability to grow food, changes in the way that people interact with their environment, changes in the way that diseases spread, and any number of things. If there is a concern on this planet, it's climate change. The CIA cites climate change as a lead cause for political turmoil worldwide, and the World Bank claims that climate change and the droughts that it causes will cause the next world war to be about water, something that we cherish and think of as an everyday, simply accessed resource. So that's really big and scary and terrifies me, to be quite honest. But I didn't leave that conference uninspired. I left that conference feeling so motivated because what I saw was that the leaders in that room at the United Nations were the same type of people that are in this room tonight. And it wasn't because they were more prestigious or more accomplished or more famous than any of us here tonight. It was simply that they decided to go and that they worked hard. So scale doesn't matter. But what does matter when it comes to leadership? What matters is that we remember organizations are not machines that accomplish great things. Organizations are simply groups of people, and they're people united for a cause. When they achieve their goals, they inspire people to take on greater tasks, and in doing so, empower each other. The number one mistake that I see myself make and others make is letting a new person at an organization leave the room without meeting anyone. People don't join clubs to get things done. They're not going to immediately volunteer for every task thrown out. People join clubs because they want friends. And when you're befriending someone, you get to ask them, why did you come here tonight? And once you know that, you can give them a task. Because you know what they want to do, and it's as simple as that. As leaders, we have to delegate responsibilities because we're eventually not going to be here. Whether we're graduating or moving to a new place or just kicking the bucket, I don't know. We're eventually not going to be able to do the jobs we're currently doing, and we have to leave space for other people to be doing this in our wake. So as we do that, we all know this, right? We all know that eventually we're not going to be taking on the tasks that we are already doing. But we don't delegate. We all take on the tasks over and over and over again. It's the same people volunteering for the same tasks, and they always get everything done. Some people are really scared to delegate because they don't trust the people that they're working with. They think, oh, I can just take care of this because I know how it's done and I can get it done right. Other people might make mistakes. But if we can't trust the people we're working with, we're not going to get anything done in the first place. So that's your own business if you can't trust them. What matters is that you believe in them. When I think about the best tasks that I was ever delegated, I look back at the time that I was asked to direct a summer program. The program's called SPROG, and it really is a blast. It's open to all high school and college students, and it focuses on training environmental leaders to take on real and tangible campaigns that win. And what's amazing about this program is that, yeah, I led it, but I wouldn't have been able to do it if somebody hadn't believed in me and said, hey, Mallory, I think you would make a great director. Why don't you apply? And it was as simple as that. Once I was directing, I was able to delegate tasks to my team, which I trusted. And we pulled off an amazing program despite innumerable obstacles along the way. When we showed up at the site, we realized we only had 3,000 gallons of water for 40 people for 7 days. That's not very many. There were so many other problems that we had to overcome, but we did it. And while I can say that I'm proud to put that on my resume, my proudest moment is not running the camp itself. My proudest moment is much smaller than that. During the program, I wrote a note to a student, and I left it anonymous. I just said, hey, Cameron, I think you're a great leader. I'd love to see you come back as a trainer next year. Cameron brought the note to me later and was like, did you see this? Who's messing with me? And I had to tell him, like, well, Cameron, yeah, I wrote that, and I think it's true. You should definitely come back. You're amazing. And the smile on his face was the most rewarding experience of my life, simply because it empowered him. Empowerment seems like this impossible task, and yet we all have the ability to do it at any moment. We all have the ability to let people know that we believe in them, that they're amazing, because they are, and that they can accomplish great things. The problem is not doing it, it's choosing to do it. Empowerment is simple, because you can do a high five, a hug, a note. You can just tell them, I think you're awesome. So as leaders, the question that I want to leave you with today is simply, what can you do today or this week to empower someone to take on the tasks that you are passionate about doing? Thank you.